Okay, something else big in the news this week, that I wrote about over at PJ Media, but I want you to take a look at this. It is a, an an EO, an executive order by Donald Trump. Thank God he got elected. And what happened was he decided that he was going to write this executive order. And I don't know who wrote this for him, because obviously he didn't sit around and write this thing. But whoever wrote this did an incredible job, as so many of them do on these executive orders. And what this is aims at cleaning up the streets of America's cities, to stop encouraging people to be deadbeat drug addicts on the street. And that's what Donald Trump did. Let's look at a few of the things they have here. Restoring civil commitment. That's the most controversial one. Okay. So we'll have that national conversation again. A lawsuit in the 1970s ended up in everyone changing their laws about civil commitment. And I understand, I'm a freedom-loving person. I'm a person who believes in civil rights. And so it should be as hard as possible to medicate somebody and put somebody in the hospital. Okay. Every once in a while we meet those people. And generally speaking, they're people, I don't know, they're people who are having a hard time. They may live in a place like this. Now, Kevin Dahlgren is a guy I know. We have a meeting of the minds about this stuff. He's an advocate for people who are on the streets. This is in Troutdale, Oregon. And this is a homeless encampment. People live there. It's in the middle of a dog park, which is frightening. I mean, do you want to take your dog there? No. And so the EO encourages, if you will, says we're going to stop allowing people to camp out wherever they bloody well please. We're not going to allow that anymore. We can't allow people to do that. Take all necessary steps to ensure the availability of funds to get people who are homeless, who are crack addicts or meth addicts or tweakers of another sort, and get them help. We're not going to let them die on the sidewalk. Look, I've had some experience in this realm. I've worked at volunteered, I should say worked, that connotes that I've somehow was involved in the, upper echelon somewhere, but I was just a volunteer. I just went and cooked with my friends from church. We go to the transitional housing center. And these people had just come off the streets. And when we first started, they were told, these folks, who were great, by the way, we'd go and sit and have dinner with them every other week or so, and cook them dinner, whatever they wanted. We just, took, one time a guy wanted greens, collard greens. I said, done, I'm going. Made him collard greens. Didn't know what I was doing, but I figured it couldn't be that much more difficult than any other greens that I cook. And we just got along with everybody. It was fantastic. It was a wonderful experience for everyone involved. And so when we first started, golly, gratitude, they were clean. They couldn't stay in the transitional housing unless they were clean and sober. They could not be drinking or drugging to be in there. And then, this is in California, after 2016, and eventually it took a little while to trickle down, all of a sudden the state said, you don't have to do anything to be in this housing. You deserve housing. You get free housing. You don't have to go to any meetings. You do not, except in court-ordered ones. You don't have to do anything to help foster a better atmosphere in your housing unit. You don't have to do any of that. And what happened was there was no incentive to get clean and sober, and you need incentives to do that. And so this takes away the incentive. It's has to be done. And that's why faith-based organizations irrespective of the faith, but usually they're Christian organizations, Catholic organizations, etc. I'm sure that some, Jewish organizations, exist and others. But faith-based organizations to help people get off drugs and to realize that they are beholden to a higher power, whatever that looks like, and that there is a code of conduct that one must have as a person who is a human, and what you owe to your fellow man. That's important, but not if the state's doing it and doesn't require you to go to any meetings or get clean and sober or do anything for a roof over your head after being a crack addict or a tweaker. Or now we have the human tacos. Those guys are on trank and they've got a little fentanyl in them. And they are splayed all over the sidewalks of the biggest cities on the West Coast, West Coast. San Francisco. San Diego has allowed this to fester. Portland, Seattle, and cities in between. LA, terrible problem in LA. California has something on the order of between 25 and 40% of all homeless people in the country. Now, I love California. I don't like the politics, but I love the state. I know a guy I met at the transitional housing shelter, and he was a New York guy, and he went to his advisor in New York, and she said, if I were you, if you're going to get sober, I'd rather do it in Southern California than here, right? Wouldn't you rather do? Here is a bus ticket. You wonder why? And they get so much money. Free food, free housing, free healthcare, free everything. Illegal aliens aren't the only one getting all the freebies. People who are there and just lying on the streets, they do too. And then you know what? Who makes the money off of that? The NGOs that help these people. It's a game. It's a game, playing with the lives of these people, when in fact what they could be doing and helping people do is to get off drugs. Provide technical assistance. This is what this EO says. This is short next to the border. This is the biggest game changer in America right now. I mean, sure, he bombed the snot out of Iran's nukes. Good. This is it. This is a bomb on America. This problem with homelessness, and we call it homelessness, it's not. It's addiction. Kevin Dahlgren was talking to, he wasn't talking to her. He was talking in front of her because she couldn't talk because she was unconscious on the sidewalks of Portland. And a lot of these folks have homes. They're not homeless. It's like when you call people undocumented aliens. They're not undocumented. They're well documented. They're just here illegally. So for so-called homeless people, they've either got a place where they could stay, but their parents or something, they've worn out the welcome. And the parents go, when you are clean and sober, you have a place here. The shelters, when you are clean and sober, you have a place here. A lot of them have homes. They just don't want to follow the rules. You know this. You've seen this enough. And so when you deprive them of any responsibility to do anything right for their lives, you have robbed them of their humanity. You have subjected and then said, we like you better, unconscious, on the street. That's not help. Just a FYI, not help. Not help. Man,